Alright, Jens and Vars here. We're gonna play the first session of the Veil game that we've been setting up for, or at least in the two latest videos I published. We've got here Aitana, the Honor-bound, and Caldar, the Onomastic. They are two very strange, eccentric characters in this futuristic world in the region of Veridia. This is this far future cyberpunkish kind of game with tones of post-apocalyptic aspects of it. And our characters, to make it short, one of them is, Aitana, she's like a cyber-armed samurai kind of character. She's very meditative and she's driven by principle and by obligations, where Caldar, they are friends, and he is more of a strange character. He belongs to an old faction that have a legacy on weird things in this world, and they are being chased by a faction called the Iconoclasts. What else to know here? He's got a strange book. It's called the Cyber Tome. It holds secrets of the Iconoclast, and its contents could destroy them, so destroy this hunter faction. In this game, using Game Unfolding Machine, and I'm going to use Plot Unfolding Machine to play the newest version, which I released yesterday, actually on Friday. What we did in the game setup is that we've got a group to protect, and there is a group of people targeted by the government who just seeks for redemption from their soul. Yeah, and I'm gonna clean up these notes for some reason it's not working. I'm just gonna play normal. I'm not gonna explain how I'm playing, or at least try. This should be a leaflet, actually. That's a very interesting plugin in Obsidian. I'm gonna install it. What it does, it allows me to, you'll see. It's going to load images as maps in your nodes, so you'll be able to play around them as part of your nodes. Pretty cool, huh? You can also set some notes and so on. Anyways, that's a small parenthesis. This kind of parentheses happen all the time. Let's see where the game starts. So we are in this headquarters that the characters usually work from. They get missions to do, paid jobs essentially for this faction, which has like a big, large network of out of the veil, this hyper reality scenery that everybody lives through. And we've got this job where we have, where like one of the game aspects, or the biggest problem based on the Game Unfolding Machine, is that there is a quarantine going on. There's like there was an attack in this one of these Veridian biggest downtown areas, and since then the whole region is kind of on military quarantine, so things aren't doing great, and there's a group we have to help because it's being targeted, accused of being involved in this big conflict, which presumably they are not, but we'll figure that out. I'm gonna imagine that this group they are related or in a network with our headquarters factions, and somehow they are like the eyes and ears, or one of the eyes and ears of our faction. We called our faction the PbtA, so it's a large network of out of the veil people. It's not like Shadowrunners where everything is easy to just go by out of the system. Everybody is in this hyper reality, but there are certain groups or minorities that try to push and fight for a humanistic approach to life. Anyways, with that said, let's begin scene number 1. We are in the headquarters. I'm gonna begin with a prompty question, probably a situational question. Let's see what we get, just to get those creative juice going. Got a 90. That is, the question is, should ensure we didn't get robbed or lost something. So I guess that's a question that prompts me to think about the criminality around us. And I'm gonna assume the headquarters is heavily monitored. There's a secret password entrance to this building where we are in, bunch of rooms, private places. There's also common meeting rooms, but as soon as we get out, yes, there's a lot of robbery going on, both violent and non-violent, and crime can get very creative. They could make use of hyper reality tricks, technological drones, or good old-fashioned robbery and stealth techniques. So with that said, that's the topic people are talking about. Maybe someone got robbed outside and they're like, shit, not again. And I'm gonna focus a bit on how Caldar reacts to the situation. He's gonna approach this guy. He's one of the administratives of the Udeas, and Caldar's gonna ask him, what did you get stolen this time? And this man's gonna be grumpy and said, one of my interface devices that blocks this advertising shit. Now I'm exposed to this pure advertising streams and the trackers are all on me. And these blocking interfaces, these ad blockers of the future, are like quite expensive, probably hard to find, and probably slash illegal, so they cannot be insured or anything like that. It's like Caldar's gonna say, crap, all right, if we find one, I'm gonna bring it back to you, right? And Caldar is this kind of person. He's like, okay, we'll figure it out. Aitana doesn't care much. It's just superficial materiality we are not interested in. So let's start filling the plot unfolding machine sheet. I'm gonna add this as an active thread already. This guy is called Josh, got its ad block stolen. That's one active thread. Our main thread is to get the Nythors, I'm gonna call them like that, the Nythors out of trouble. Those are the two active threads. There's one more which is based on the Onomastic's playbook. I think he was getting he's getting followed, right, by the Iconoclasts, and they are angels or demons that have no expression and make inhuman sound. So they are there somewhere in the background. They're totally an active thread, which is deal with the Iconoclasts, and they're gonna also be story troubles, right? Other story troubles are for sure crime out in Veridia, probably violent law enforcement. That's another story trouble we're gonna face based on what we know so far. The Nythors are fighting the violent law enforcement, right? Relevant actors. Important factions are, of course, the Nythors. Who else is a relevant actor so far? Police forces could do something from time to time. Those are the only two, and I guess the Iconoclast demons are also a relevant actor. There's of course some overlapping, but that's fine. They play different roles. World aspects. crime is abnormally high lately. What else we've got in the world aspects? The Veil is everywhere. And the third world aspect is probably I'm gonna leave it open. I think those two are good. Crime is abnormally high, the Veil is everywhere. Yeah. So, with that said, we're gonna go out and look for the Nythors. They are somewhere in downtown, so I'm gonna take the high-speed inner city train and try to go to some area around here. We are supposedly somewhere far from downtown. Maybe, I think we said up here. Because it's a strategic position out of the urban areas. So there's an underground rail probably taking us closer to downtown. That's a huge distance, so this region is huge. So it's gonna take a while. And we're gonna go there, and I'm gonna ask if anything happens in between with the scene check, our first scene check of the day. That's a number 6, so life as usual. We take the high-speed train. It's crowded as always. There's heavy police enforcement everywhere, cameras, and as soon as we get out in the streets, the Veil starts showing different forms of advertising, and there's like hyper reality, like augmented reality characters, people doing things, interacting with this fake digital world, and some others like having normal regular lives, some of them going to work, others having no work at all. Typical future cyberpunk essence, let's say. Let's make Prompty Question to narrate a bit the travel with a travel question. We've got 100. That is, what are the chances to get lost around here? That's a good question. So the high-speed trains, we have to make many combinations, and they run on a schedule, totally automated. But the tunnels are so large, and there's always all the time interruptions. We know there's like some terrorist attacks here and there, or violent vandalism, so they get interrupted quite often. We suffer probably some delays in between, and we have to go here and there, so it's not the smoothest ride ever. But as the scene check said, everything is normal. This is just like normal day-to-day life in Veridia. Eventually we get to the downtown, and we need to figure out where the Nythors are, right? Probably need to get... we have an idea, and I think I need a location for where can we find them? What's an encounter point? I'm gonna go to the location generator of Game Unfolding Machine, page 15. By the purpose it plays. So the Nythors are on an imprisonment dungeon torture guarding place. So I guess the Nythors took over an old... I'm gonna write this down. The Nythors. We will need that. One of their headquarters is in an old abandoned police station of all times. I'm gonna check like some describe area here in Plot Unfolding Machine. I have it handy. That's a 9 and a 3. So mostly abandoned. Yeah, that confirms it. It's in pretty bad shape in an old, in an out of the law district, full of graffiti and so on. You get the gist. And certain level of family thugs. So that's the area. I'm gonna roll a scene prompt now and plot unfold the machine to see what kind of things happens as we get there. We've got a 1 and a 4. That's prompt is an unexpected complication. 4 is related to the current location, of course. So what kind of trouble we can expect in this location? I guess if it's related to problem location, some thugs that are gonna approach us and like recognize that we're not from around here, but we have networks. We came to help. The question is if these guys are gonna recognize that or not. Let's take a look at some of the moves we've got. I think Aitana is the social person here. To think a little bit, what would we plan for? Moves, honor. When you feel reluctant to enforce or penalize someone who has not honored their obligation. We don't know that yet. So let's see what these guys will want. I guess they want us out of here and to know what's our business, right? So let me check the moves again. Geary moves. When you ask someone to do something you want and use the geary you have on them to make things square between yourselves. So these moves are a bit difficult, but maybe you can use cred. No, that's cred, that's money. Then I need the basic moves. When you want to get an NPC to do something you want and their motivations don't line up with yours. So probably sway is the move we're gonna base around. But first let's figure out what do they say. This guy comes. How many are they? Like, are they a lot? Like, are they a large group? That's a yes or no question. 7 and 3, that's a yes. Yes, but they are not all together. So yes, they are a large group, but they are spread out across the street. Some of them watching from some window in a building, others across the street, others looking from inside a shop. So we feel very observed and definitely overwhelmed, let's say, or outnumbered. So these guys approach and they say, "You're not from around here. This is not a neighborhood to come pass free." And Aitana's gonna say, "We've got an obligation to work around. Came to look the Nythors, so leave us alone unless you can help us get to them." Like, do they take this in the good way or the bad way? So do they tag along? 8 is a yes, and a 7, it's a pure yes. So they said, "The Nythors, huh? You're looking for trouble, it looks like. You're being targeted by the police. Might not get around that down further." "We know that," says Caldar, "but we're looking for a contact. Do you know who could we address?" They're gonna point us to somewhere, so let's see a who question in PUM. 5 and a 7, that's a family-related being. Well, it isn't exactly a contact because all people are under heavy monitoring from the police, but you can't reach their node and ask their server ghost. Ooh, that's interesting. I like that idea. The server ghost? It's a Nythors only accessible place. You should know the password to get it to decrypt to you. On whose behalf are you coming? We're working with you, Dia. Fair enough. Then you know the contact. So I'm gonna add this to the world aspect immediately before I forget that. I like this idea of server ghosts. Server ghosts protect our knowledge. That's an aspect. Yeah. Running out of space here, but that's the point. So, fine. Where can we get to this place? Tag along 300 meters and turn left. There's a black door for you. Knock 3 times. You'll get accessed if you have the right tags in your interface. Thank you. The name is Aitana and he's Caldar, by the way. Just take care. We ought not to share names at this moment. Things are a bit hot, but you can call me Tag. That's more than enough for now. Thank you, Tag. So let's add Tag as a relevant actor in the game. I think he's a pretty cool guy from the Nythors fighters, if he's belong. Like, let's ask that, because I don't know. Are these guys part of the Nythors themselves? That's a 3 and a 10. That's a no. Of course not. So no, they are not related to the Nythors at all, but they are like protectors of this district. The Veia fighters. I know, I made this name up. Veia is the name of this district. So their neighbor the Veia. What's wrong? Why isn't it offering me to fix this crappy dictionary? Neighborhood. Alright. So we go around 300 meters and then turn. Did he say left or right? I don't know. We turn in whichever direction he told us and we look for this black door, which is linked to the Veil, of course. But it has its own hacks, probably a modded version of it. Maybe that's an interesting. Yeah, I like that. I like that, like that world aspect. The Veil is getting hacked or modded. Might have an influence on it, right? I'm tired of opening up this all the time, so I'm gonna leave it open here to the side. We're probably gonna use it a lot anyways. And focus on my characters around here. So I'm gonna do a scene prompt, or no, rather a scene check, because we expect to find this black door and enter this ghost, server ghost place. So let's see what's in there. Scene check. That's a number 7, proceeds as you expected, so nobody was lying or anything. Aitana and Caldar walk by 300 meters to the right. They find a huge black door, and let's describe this area specifically a little bit. With a double 10, D10. 7 and a 6, that's actively unusual, so there's some activities. There's a queue as we get 2 or 3 people, strange one. There's an old woman, a young guy, and some android of some sort, and we are like, Caldar is like, hey, excuse us, are you waiting for this door exactly? And they're gonna say yes. and give a bad look. What's inside? Should we take orders to get in? Does anybody answer that? Like, Caldar's trying to take a peek at what people is doing around here, maybe bringing up some conversation. That's a 9 and a 7. That's a yes. So they said, like, what's inside? Is it only a ghost server or is there something else? Let me ask that again. 2 and a 4. No, there's something else probably. No. What else is there? I need some prompt here. Let's make a what question. Some ideas of what else is in this place, or what is it about? Getting a 9 and an 8, that's a secretive encounter. Well, if you have been summoned here, my friend, you better wait in line. Everybody's being summoned for different reasons. Whatever is yours, you're gonna find the answer inside. Ooh, that's pretty oracle, but that means a good thing. This kind of ghost servers might have a hyper-reality mutated cyberspace area. I'm gonna place a note about this. The ghost servers, or the server ghosts. Secretive, unusuals, place of wonders and questions. One of them is located in the Nythors area, the Veia. It is guarded by the Veia fighters. Names are not great, but good enough. We wait our turn, and eventually we go inside. And I have no idea what's inside, so this is a perfect situation for the plot unfolding machine scene prompt. Can be good or bad, but we're gonna get in. That's a 1 and an 8. That means a complication and certain intel was wrong. So somebody lied to us. Or at least something we thought it was wrong. So what was wrong exactly? What were we expecting? We were expecting some sort of cyber server room to be able to ask questions. But in the end, there's something totally different, right? And it's a complication, so something not necessarily helpful. I'm gonna make it like a super, like, I don't want to kill the idea of the server ghosts, but something is not right about it. And I need some ideas about that. So something is not right about that. It's not exactly useful, probably. So the ghost server is gonna receive us as we get inside, and let me make this based. Yeah, I got stuck here. That's totally fine. You know what? I'm gonna roll. So we've got a complication because some intel was wrong. Okay, what was wrong exactly? Let's just roll a prompt question here for the what table. 6 and 6, that's a personal politics. Alright, that gives me some idea. As we get in, there's another guard inside. Huge guy. Let's describe him actually, not necessarily huge. 6 and a 6. He's legally exotic. So a large guy with a punk hairstyle, lots of tattoos and two cyber arms, taking a smoke, and he's looking at us. It's like, you're gonna be subject to the test scanner before you get to interact with the ghost server. Open your interfaces. Caldar says, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Well, it's that or get out of your streets and where you came from. And Aitana's gonna ask, what is this for? And he's gonna say, only certain whitelisted personas are gonna be able to interact with the server. Are there any side effects? Are there any side effects? That's a good question. What does he say? 6 and a 5. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. You're opening your interface to the very open Veil anyways. So, but it's a necessary cost we've got to pay to visit the ghost server. Caldar and Aitana look at each other. I guess we have another way, any other way. So this isn't great, but we accept it. And like, what's the consequence of getting exposed to the Veil, right? That we are tracked, we might be identified, and the police might come, but if everybody's getting scanned here, maybe there's actually something else entirely. Anyways, we get scanned. Does everything goes as expected? I'm gonna roll a scene check here. That's a 1, of course not. We've got interrupted with a new scene prompt. The scene prompt is 4 and 6. That's put our characters in a crisis. We've got a crisis here. And the crisis is this table here. The second table is 6. There's annoying machinery. Alright, some annoying machinery. So I guess we get scanned and thinking this is gonna interfere with our cyber equipment. Whatever kind of scanned or modded scanner they use here is gonna mess up with our cyber implants. Let's see what's the cybernetics of Aitana. It's twitchy and scarred, so Aitana starts feeling her arm like emanating electric impulses, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable as her interface is interfering with her normal arm operation, and it's going to start like doing involuntary movements. Caldar on his side, he's got negative tags on his cybernetics. He's got some sort of addiction and susceptible, so he's like has a strong urge to take some supplemental vitamin he takes that twist her mood or something. So he's itchy and he has this urge to get some. He's gonna be like some sort of drug consumer probably. So he's got this nitro drug, whatever, and he's like has this big urge to hold it back. So both are gonna roll a scared roll. So Aitana's gonna roll 2d6 minus 1 for a scared feeling roll, and she's got a Is that a 10? Yeah, that's a 10. She did great. So she's like overcoming this interference in her veil blockers and like pushing her arm back again and making such a string with her arm that regains control over her arm again. This is definitely not just a scanner, so this is the wrong intel that somebody gave us. This is not what this guy is saying. Something else is happening here. And then Caldar is gonna roll sad. No, scared as well. But he's stronger with the scared feelings. Double d6 plus 1. That's a 10, so he's also doing great. He's overcoming his urge to consume drugs, and he's like taking a deep breath and keeping his posture and composure. And he's gonna say, Caldar, no, not Caldar, Aitana's gonna say, tell us what happened. And in this moment is where I picture like we are no longer seeing the big guy doing the scans anymore. Everything, like as we were focusing on our pain, got black and we enter a hyper reality module and everything is like terraforming itself around us. Aitana and Caldar, do they see each other still? Let me ask this question. 10 and 9, it's hard to say unless. So you, both Aitana and Caldar, can't tell what are they surrounding with. They don't see each other, but they feel each other still. So it's hard to tell whether they should look for each other or stick to it. Eventually a new scene will prompt and I have no idea what will happen next, so I'm gonna go for another scene prompt. That's a 7 and a 2. The scene prompt is activate the story trouble. Let's see, we rolled a 2 for the second dice. A story trouble is the Iconoclasts are going to interfere. So the Iconoclasts are demons. So as much as Aitana gets access to a white node, she starts to ask some questions, and she begins to interact with a stronger force that has access, and like she's successful in finding what she's looking for. Caldar, however, sees this white node, but then this white node is interrupted by a huge humanoid-like demon without a clear face, and that's the Iconoclasts. Let's review what's the Iconoclasts again. They're coming for you, they never stop, and they've already taken the rest of their order. Under their disguises, they look like angels or demons. So, what do they want? What do they intend? I know they want to destroy Caldar. But what do they intend exactly? What does it look like they want? An 8 and a 5. They want to join an object. So what they want here is to interfere with the node we are trying to interact with. And Caldar wants to stop them. How does Caldar interact with this, as the demons are more focused on interfering with the Nythors ghost server than dealing with Caldar himself, at least indirectly. So he's got the true name move. I'm gonna call their true names of the Iconoclasts to push them away of this server. So when you can see someone you wish to manipulate with the mysterious power of your dead order, speak their true name and roll plus components. You must have at least one component. I don't think we have any component yet. Components bring their power to bear on their foes by learning their true names. Do we start with any components? When you gain knowledge of someone's major life events, mark that you have one component on them specifically. So no, we cannot know the true names of the Iconoclasts. So I think we'll have to fight them, or the Sanctuary move. Let's see what it does. No, the Iconoclasts doesn't say we can fight them. Gaze into the abyss. That's not exactly what we want. But what I know is that we are in the cyberspace. Ultimatum, when you say what you want to add, and you will do if you don't get it. I guess we're gonna roll an ultimatum move. So what we're doing here is to concentrate on these things and try to ask them to go away. Nicely at first, not so nicely afterwards. What can Caldar do exactly? He's like, he can manipulate people on their real life. He's got a cyber tome. And the cyber tome holds secrets of the Iconoclast, so he knows that he could have content to destroy them. So he's gonna threaten them to leave and even try to destroy them. I'm gonna simply do this ultimatum with mad or powerful. Powerful is better. And let's see how things go. That's a 5 and a 4. That's 9 plus 1 is 10. So on a 10 they have to choose make you carry out your threat or back down and give you what you want. Remove themselves as a threat. That's probably what they're gonna do. So Caldar focuses on these things interfering with the node, the ghost server, and he invokes some old powerful words that push them away of this cyberspace where they don't belong to. I'm gonna ask another situational question to Prompty to narrate this a bit better or further. That's 88. What if any of our belongings had a secret power? In fact, it does have a secret power. Caldar recognizes that his cyber tome could keep the essence of the demons he pushes away. So he's going to do that, and I'm gonna mark that as a component because he succeeded very, very well. I'm gonna open this and add here a component. Iconoclast in cyberspace essence. So that's one component we've got, and that's plenty useful so far. Now we move on. We can interact with this ghost server node. What do we want to ask? It looks like the node is just waiting for our prompt. But Caldar's gonna focus on the demons and he's gonna ask, could you see them trying to interfere with you, ghost server? What do they respond? 6 and a 10. Yes, of course we could interfere. We appreciate that you had taken us of trouble. This will force us to rotate our hyper-reality location after this communication. So we require you to take haste and ask what you need. And the same thing is what Aitana hears. Aitana's gonna ask, Where can we find your leader right now? Please give us some coordinates. And Caldar can perceive the same question in the end. Let's see what is the answer. Can they give us some coordinates to the Nythors leader? 2 and a 7. No. We can't. Okay. So you can't and you don't know where your leader is. Is there a safe place where they usually go to? How can we find them? I'm gonna ask a what question here to see what do they give us instead. They give us a valuable event. Alright, so they cannot tell us where the leader is, the node says, but they can grant us with a powerful orchestrated attack that the police is going to conduct in the next hour. Let's see where. We need a place. Maybe by its content or by its worth. Okay, let's get a location in Game Unfolding Machine by its worth. That's a 14. A magical, special, esoteric place. So there's another ghost server and the police is going to interfere with it. If you go to this physical location and protect it, it is extremely likely that the Nythors will try to defend it. This is going to happen soon, and if I know this, they know it too. Good luck and come back soon. The server disconnects, and with that we got a lead. Where can we find the Nythors? We don't know exactly where, but we know there's going to be an attack to a node server of another ghost server in danger. Let's see in which area is that exactly. Let's describe this location maybe. And with that I'm gonna take a break. That's a 4 and a 3, so the location is knowingly abandoned. So it's another abandoned district area, not far away from downtown. Veridia, possibly somewhere here, in which there's another ghost server. But this one is being targeted by the enforcement forces. So I'm gonna take this note here. Another server ghost is being targeted by Veridia's police forces or paramilitary. This server is of personal interest to the Nythors, which might make it a valid point to find any of their members. And with that, I'm gonna take a break and wrap up this session here. I hope you have enjoyed it. It was very open, very difficult, but we've got a bit of a feeling of the game and of the characters and how they behave. So let's see how this game goes forward and stay in touch. This is Jensen Vars. Very welcome your comments, opinions or feedback on the game. What would you do differently or how would you play? Super interested in that. Let's stay in touch. Bye bye.